So to work collaboratively and build those foundations, well, firstly, you've got to spend time, effort and money on it. It doesn't happen naturally, and you've got to have people who are skilled in bringing people together. And I think there's a great sort of myth that collaboration just happens. If you put people in a room, then collaboration will happen. It's just simply not true. So the first thing is you've got to spend quite a bit of effort on it. And that's really how we started to build our backbone team and our colleagues who we worked with on particular projects. We tried to select people who were really good facilitators, who had a reasonable amount of content knowledge, but really who were excellent at bringing people to consensus and digging into people's perspectives and issues and bringing that to the table.
Remember that everyone's in it for the same reasons, and when people are questioning what you're doing, it's out of a real desire to know. Sometimes you can, maybe it's just me, but sometimes it can, feel a little bit difficult when you're having to sort of explain what you're doing. But it's because we're all here for the same reasons, but we're all from very different backgrounds. So that persistence and that knowing that everyone here, we've got our differences, but we're all working for the same thing is really important. And just knowing that there's so many people out there with great intentions and we really want to see change.
I think specifically with Logan Together, the group of people that you're working with or that you're chatting and learning from come from such a different array of fields. So I think the big difference with the group of people is that the expertise is not in one space. So everybody has these really different perspectives about what should be a priority. And so then it's really about that collaborative conversation that keeps happening as to, well, where do we prioritise and what do we prioritise and how do we then move forward on those?
We still had to bring other Aboriginal people on. It was about, I needed to go with what I knew and the people that I already had around me, the elders that I had around me. And I think it was just the perfect time. And Debbie, Miss Campbell from C4C said it's time to get on board with, this Logan Together stuff. And so I rang the aunties and I rang a couple of other people to come, let's have a meeting with Logan Together. And it started from there. Yeah.
And it was really good from the Logan Elders' perspective because we don't get really involved with so many university things, and it was so good to have Auntie Faith invite us on there because she wanted us to be part of that too, because she's always given us that respect of, being leaders in this community and that, we should have a say in terms of those kind of things too. So we were really happy that we were part of those first discussions. And because she was in that, sort of backbone team or leadership team and at the table already, we just felt as though we were riding on her short shirt tails, in terms of those kind of things. So it was really good to sort of have other Aboriginal people come there and want to be part of it as well because, we've been very fragmented in Logan for a long time.
Getting people to turn up was easy in some ways, in that people are incredibly passionate about kids in our community. Working with mums and dads and kids took some particular effort and particular some awareness about what is in it for them to participate in a conversation like the one that we wanted to have. So we were fairly deliberate about our parent engagement and very, very deliberate about our children's engagement. But in terms of people who are paid to grow kids up well in some way, teachers or health professionals or social service providers, there was a great appetite. But also taking care when you're inviting people to explain what you're doing and why their voice is important. What we found is when we did that, people got extremely excited that someone was listening and that they had a way of contributing to a very important topic, the future of their own kids, in a way that their voice could be powerful. And
so I think one of the key features when you join an element like this is that you're certainly coming with your own priorities and values, but it's the ability to really be able to listen to what other people's priorities are and sometimes to be able to just put yours aside because something else is more important at the time. And I do think that takes a certain trait in people to be able to work that way, because obviously what you think is important comes from, you know, a good place. So, yeah.
So in terms of who was involved in the foundations phase, really the answer is anyone who had a role in growing kids up well in our community, which is lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of different people. So I think probably the working group hitting upon the methodology, hitting upon a unifying goal or a galvanising goal, which in our case was focusing on little kids for all the good reasons you focus on little kids, and also looking at it at a population level. So getting that sort of outcome data at a population level. It said, well, what is our challenge? How big is that challenge? Who are we talking about? Where do those folks live? What are the issues that affect them? How many people are affected by different issues? How do they play out over the life stages? And how do we bring it down to achievable targets for things that we can do?
But it was through Matthew Stratham and Josephine Alfai. They came and visited Hosanna Logan City and said, hey, we would like to, meet up sometime just to talk about this space that you guys have, an amazing space. It's central, and what are the things that you guys are deciding to do, or what do you guys envision to do with this space? So then that got us talking, and that was able to. We saw this opportunity for the community, because we're very community focused, and Matthew Stratham and Josephine also are very community minded as well. So we were able to continue on just building a relationship, a very early relationship. We didn't know what each other's intentions were, but just being able to build that relationship and hear each other's vision.
We really relied very heavily on our community champions and our community leaders, not only within the First Nations community, but within our culturally and linguistically diverse communities, and a broad range of other communities. So they had the passion, they had the energy, they had their own networks, their own resources, and it really was about tapping into the great work that they are already doing down here in Logan, and using that as a bit of a platform to set the scene for the other work that we needed to do.
That we weren't there to replace anything or duplicate. It was all about bringing together the great work and just knocking down those silos and letting each of the stakeholders know what was going on, how you could work in complementing each other rather than competing with each other, I think.
It was very new for us in the beginning, and one of the tips would be that to go in be as open-minded as possible, but be transparent. You have to actually just be transparent of your intentions. For us, that meant so much to us through Logan Together, being able to come to us and build that collaboration, because then it was Logan Together that led us, and we entrusted them with us and with our community, and they were able to lead us into building other relationships, especially with health, the health system, Metro South Health.
For me, that was a platform for us to shine as Aboriginal people, where we could have a voice, because we've been knocking, like I've been in this community for 35 years and trying to work with organisations, council and everything, and keep on getting that door shut. Whereas with Logan Together, it was a partnership, and they could be our voice, but also our backup as well, and we was their backup in our community. And I think that's where it all came from.
And I think the momentum for change and focusing on big outcomes for your community and big outcomes for kids really drags everybody along, almost effortlessly. People really want a future for their community. They want a future for their kids. But you do have to paint that opportunity, and you do have to deliver a real prospect of being able to pursue those opportunities. And I think that's what good backbone teams have to do, and good founders of movements like ours have to do.